What is going on? It is your boy John Scott Pedersen here. I am here with another call from the content dump. This one is called Part 1, Lorne Chooses Beer Over Winnie. I was listening to some calls last night to fall asleep, and I must have missed this one. I don't think I'd heard it before, and I found it really entertaining, and I wanted to listen to it with you guys. So I will get it started, and we'll see how it is.
Why don't you know, asshole?
I know what you think. I don't know why you're mad at me. Why wouldn't you answer my phone calls? Where are you right now? You still at the hospital?
You got drunk and didn't call me all day knowing I'd be here at the hospital.
No, you...
So, background, Lorne, who, obsessively calls people all day long, over and over, why haven't you answered me? For whatever reason, decided to take a break from calling his quote-unquote girlfriend on the day that she is in the hospital. Why he chose this particular day as the only day he is ever going to be, not, trying to bother the shit out of somebody, I have no idea. But Winnie isn't overly happy with him right now. It seems like Lorne went out and got drunk on the day that his girlfriend was in the hospital instead of giving her a call. Make of that what you will. Some people might say that that's not a very nice thing to do, but I would like to submit to you that Lorne was raised by mom, so...
I thought you said the Dan was coming out today.
What difference does that make?
Because I didn't think you were going to call me all day because Dan was supposed to be out there today.
Why would that make me not want anybody to show me they care? Asshole.
Baby.
Baby.
You know I fucking love you. Come on.
I fucking love you. The 4 words every woman wants to hear.
Get real.
What an asshole.
You told me Dan was going to come out.
Asshole.
Why would I call him when Dan's coming out?
Why
when I know Dan's going to be there.
Why would you not?
Because I'm trying to respect you and Dan and your friendship with Dan.
Really? Is that what it is? Really, Lauren?
I didn't before, baby. I didn't before.
You're so
and I'm trying to do that now.
You didn't fucking call me.
No.
You know, fucking got drunk all fucking day, asshole.
Lorne got drunk? No. Now Winnie's just talking crazy.
Whatever I've done, you've always fucking called me and bugged me.
Yeah.
Bug the fuck out of me.
I know,
And
baby.
today, you're acting like you're doing some noble thing by not doing so, but you're just being a fucking asshole. You just wanted to get drunk without consequence, and I'm not going to let you fucking turn it into the...
This is what I don't understand, is Lorne calls people endlessly, right? It's all he has to do with his life. So I'm guessing he just decided not to call her this day because of how often he gets called out, because he's clearly slurring his words and not able to think clearly. Not that like sober Lorne and drunk Lorne are very distinguishable. But it seems like he didn't want to get called out for drinking, and so he pretended to have just, been just like minding his own business for one day. But it just makes it even more suspicious given that every other day of his life he's screaming at somebody over the phone,
This thing that makes you a hero. You're an asshole. You knew I probably wanted to hear from you. You knew where I was. You know I was lonely and scared. You know what's going on with me. You don't fucking care enough.
I knew you.
To even fucking say.
I knew Dana was supposed to be out there.
At all? What the fuck difference does that make?
Because this is not like it was before.
Shut up.
What does that
The
mean?
same stuff.
So Lauren's excuse is, I knew you were going to have a visitor at the hospital, therefore I didn't call.
Went into the
The same.
hospital, would you not visit her because Clay already went to see her that day? What a fucking bitch you are. What are you fucking hiding?
Nothing.
You're a fucking
I was
bitch.
trying to be respectful to you and Dan.
What? Don't you fucking feed me that horse shit, you fucking drunk bitch.
We all know the hallmark of respect and nobility is not calling people when they're hospitalized. That's really how you show you care, is honestly not checking in with people who are in the hospital at all.
I'm not even drunk. Jesus, you're still giving me hell.
The other day I got a get well card from somebody and I threw it in the trash because I couldn't believe they were so disrespectful as to think about me while I was sick. Those fuckers.
Baby, I was trying to be respectful to you and Dan. You said Dan was supposed to come
They
up
should be more like Lorne.
You and I both know that you're full of
Okay.
shit. Why don't you just fucking be honest? Why can't you just fucking tell the fucking truth? Why not? You know you're drunk. Just because you think that it was
No,
a
I'm not.
while ago that you drank. You think you woke up sober, bitch?
I haven't even been to bed yet.
So, like, Lorne clearly didn't want Winnie to think poorly of him, so he is, like, lying to her about drinking. But the thing is, that's so pathetic, and it's so much more respectable to just be like, yeah, I got drunk. And I don't think Lorne realizes that. Is that just, like, owning it is way more respectable than sitting here lying because you're scared of, like, your girlfriend's tongue lashing or whatever. Like, that is like a little bitch move. And Winnie's calling him out for it. Lorne doesn't like it. But it's apparent. Like, this is like such disgusting, wormy behavior. And Lorne can't grasp that just like owning your actions is way more noble than constantly trying to bury them. And he does this with everything from getting drunk on the weekend and therefore not like giving somebody a call to, showing up at a sting house. And Lorne would be so much more respected if he could just own the things that he did. But he never will. There's always like some caveat. There's always some influence that was upon him. Like, oh, I didn't get my mac and cheese. Oh, I wanted to like give you and Dan respect. There's always got to be some lie that is used to temper Lorne's guilt. And make it so that the situation wasn't entirely his fault. It was also partly the fault of this person or this event. And that's why Lorne gets trolled so relentlessly and why he's hated so much by us. Because we see somebody who did this horrible thing and they can't move past, or like we can't move past it because they can't even accept that they did it. They don't feel any guilt for it whatsoever because they don't actually believe that they're guilty. And that's why he is so infuriating and why he like brings all of this wrath raining down on him from the community more so than any other predator in the TCAP series.
Yeah, you know what? Your girlfriend's literally dying. You don't fucking answer the phone or call me all day long. Dan couldn't
Baby,
help you.
listen. You hadn't called me. Okay, you knew that I was doing stuff today.
You know what?
You knew that I had to do stuff today. I have to keep warm.
You knew I was in the hospital. Don't you?
I had to keep warm. I wonder if this means Lorne was chopping wood today. I wonder if that's which, I mean, of course he was also drunk then, so this would be another instance of Lorne getting drunk and then going out and chopping wood, which seems like a stupid move, stupid to do that. I've swung an axe before. I've chopped firewood. It's hard work, and I understand why Lorne is fucking ripped because of it. But also, like, doesn't seem like something I would want to do while drunk. Lorne's gonna fucking swing that thing into his like shin sometime, and he's just gonna die out in a field in Maine.
You fucking act like you didn't get fucking drunk today.
You could have stayed on the phone with me all day.
Lorne,
Could have stayed on the phone with me all day.
Stupid. Your phone was turned off, idiot. And I didn't leave you any messages except for one. I called you all fucking day. And if you want a screenshot of my call log, I'll show it to you. But I shouldn't even have to because you and I know you were fucking getting fucking drunk with your phone turned off. You knew
Okay,
where
for
I
one, my
was.
phone was not turned
Whether
off.
or not my friend was here, you don't think I might have wanted to hear from you? Are you kidding me?
Baby, I thought Dan was supposed to be out there today,
And couldn't Lorne, like, at least text? Like, at the bare minimum, he could have shot off a quick text, right? Because, like, is he going to argue that he also didn't text because that would have been, you know, disrespectful and interrupting her time with her friend?
I'm going to call you because I know you.
No, I've already
Dan.
told you that is rejected. No, that's fucking bullshit.
Objection.
Stop it.
Well, reject it if you want. I'm
Yes.
sorry.
Yes. Did you drink beer today?
Yes.
I can tell
Damn,
you
got
are
him.
slurring, and you're just like...
See, like, and here's the thing, is I actually couldn't tell you if Lorne was drunk or not in this call. He just sounds like he normally sounds to me. I think Lorne's brain is so, like, fucking fermented at this point to just always be drunk. I think his brain is just, like, swimming in a vat of alcohol. I honestly can't tell a difference between Lorne plastered and Lorne sober. I don't hear it. And I hear, like, the decoys call it out, and I actually, like, don't get it. It's just like, this sounds like Lorne to me, sure.
Get drunk? No.
You think that
I didn't
nobody
get
can
drunk.
tell when you were drinking and you are clearly inebriated still?
Baby. I'm trying to be honest with you.
No, you're not.
I didn't get drunk. Oh, God.
Oh, God.
You don't think
I'm
that
trying
you
to be
are
honest with
drunk?
you.
What's drunk to you? If you're not drunk, then I am really, really scared to see and hear you when you are.
Alright? Don't do this to me anymore.
I'm at the fucking hospital, bitch. You fucking abandoned me. There is no do this to me anymore.
I didn't abandon you.
Yes, you did.
I did not abandon you.
You have no idea.
You told me Dan was coming out. You told me Dan was coming out today.
It doesn't matter.
I was trying to be respectful to you
No,
in your friendship to Dan.
Respectful. Fuck you. You're a fucking liar. Stop acting like that. I know you've rehearsed it all fucking day long. It's not gonna work. So all your fucking practice and work you put into that is useless.
I bet Lorne did, like, cycle through all the excuses. Let's see, I got trashed and I didn't call my girlfriend today. What am I going to tell her? I'm going to tell her I was chopping firewood all day long and I didn't want to disturb her and Dan. That'll get it. Like, and that makes me look great. I was, like, being productive and I was being courteous. I didn't want to interrupt people. This is going to go over well. I'm probably going to get some phone sex out of this.
Congratulations, you played yourself.
The ghosts are going to be howling tonight, boys.
I'm not fighting.
Well, I'm not fighting either. I can't fucking deal with
We
this.
got him. I'm gonna fight with you.
I hope my liver gives out.
Ugh. Winnie, if Lorne's liver hasn't given out, yours is fine. Don't worry.
That's not even right for you to say that.
Why not? If you cared, you would have fucking called me. At least to see how I'm doing. You know I'm in the hospital. I'm respecting this bullshit. What do you think I want more? Your fucking lie about respect? Or to know that you care enough to at least call me once? Or at least text me once? Fucking asshole. I have no idea if you know how serious my health issue is.
I know, and I was also trying to not stress you out.
No. How would it be stressful?
I like that Lorne knows that he is a source of stress in her life, though.
It doesn't matter what I say, you're not going to
How
accept it.
would it be stressful to have received a little bit of support and caring from you all day long, even if it was for you to fucking text one
Because I thought
word?
Dan was there with you.
So the
I
fuck.
thought Dan was there with you.
So what? What if Dan went to go visit without Emma, and he's like, oh well, you know I'm here, and then Emma said, oh no, I sent
Without
him.
Emma,
Whatever.
why do I care without Emma?
Whatever.
Dan's
Lorne.
your best friend, and I trust
Whatever.
Dan and you.
Whatever, Lauren. You're not even paying attention to the point. You're so fucking thick in your head. I don't care. I don't need you, and I don't need any friends. I called Susan.
No.
So fuck you.
Well, I'm sorry I wasn't there when you called, but I thought Dan was there.
It doesn't fucking
He
matter.
told me he was going to be there
Stop
today.
bringing that up and stop bringing up the
Is Dan there?
It's not going to work. No matter how much you fucking rehearsed saying
Is
that
Dan
thing
there?
and smiling to yourself. That'll work. It's not going to fucking work. Point your fingers up.
Shut up.
And wave them up and down.
Shut up, he says to his girlfriend in the hospital. Oh man, Lorne. So right now Lorne is getting criticized because he didn't call his girlfriend while she was in the hospital, and so his response to the criticism is to tell her to shut up. And I understand Winnie is being rude, but also this is like undeniably a case of like righteous anger. Somebody who has every right to be upset with you, and you're just gonna tell them to shut up. Lorne's really a rare breed.
Down right under your ugly nose.
Shut up.
Fuck you.
Is Dan there? Is Dan there?
I just fucking told you he's not here. Probably cares less than you do.
Didn't you say he was supposed to be there today?
If you would have fucking called, then you would have had the update that he couldn't make it.
Dan couldn't make it there today?
Nobody could.
A little slow on the fucking uptake there, Lorne. If you would have called, you would have known he couldn't make it. 10 seconds later, Dan couldn't make it? Yeah, no shit, Lorne. Jesus. It's like the gears are turning, but like the teeth aren't catching, like nothing's actually moving in that fucking brain.
Is he coming tomorrow?
Fuck you.
Stop.
9
Baby,
minutes
stop,
in, and
please.
not a how are you? You're dying. How are you? 9 minutes in, you fucking selfish drunk.
Baby,
If
please
you weren't busy
stop.
drinking, you would have called and asked.
Baby, please. Did Dan say that he would be there tomorrow? Tell me, please.
Drinking buddy, Lauren. Your little drinking buddy's all right. Make sure that you asked. Huh?
We boys. I don't think Winnie understands the bond of being boys. I think she's being really disrespectful to that right now. I don't think you get to denigrate being boys. You know?
Can Dan be there tomorrow?
Right?
Can Dan be there tomorrow?
Now, why don't you tell me how they're doing?
Baby, come on. Stop creating garbage. Stop
No.
creating drama. Please
Address
answer
my
me.
hurt feelings,
Did Dan
asshole.
say he could be there tomorrow?
Address my hurt feelings, asshole. Comment on it.
Tony is fine. Tony is fine.
So I know he saw Tony. But also, yeah, like, so there's obviously, like, a lot of hurt here, and instead of being able to acknowledge it, since it is, like, it's a hurt caused by Lorne, and so he's unable to, because that would admit wrongdoing. So obviously, like, the correct thing to do in this situation is to apologize, acknowledge the hurt feelings, even if it was, like, an honest misunderstanding where, you know, Lorne, for whatever reason, thought Winnie didn't want him to call. When you hear that, like, there is this hurt because of, you know, perceived neglect, you do need to apologize. Even, like, because the effect your words and actions have isn't really truly related to their intent. You know, impact is separate from intent.
And I have an update about Roy.
What?
That nobody knew anything about. What's that noise in the background?
Fucking business.
Somebody crying information in your family, so don't put it out.
Oh, don't worry. It stops here, Lorne.
Roy's license has been suspended or revoked.
I know. I already saw it on the
Nobody
booking.
knew anything. You saw it already?
The booking page has it on there. It says driving with suspended license and all of his charges is public info. He lied to everybody saying that he had a license.
Yeah.
I wonder how long.
I didn't know it until
I wonder how long Roy was driving without a license.
Mom found out from Aunt Sharon today.
Yeah.
I'm surprised Lauren's license hasn't been suspended yet. That's kind of. They must not have like frequent like cops going by those like rural main roads. I bet that's why Lorne has been able to get away with so much drunk driving, is because, you know, there's just never any regular patrol, so you can be swerving all over the road and it's not busy, there's no patrols going by, so you're able to get away with it.
He's been driving like that the whole time.
Yeah, nobody in the family knew it. This is how bad Roy's gotten.
The only difference, Lorne always puts Roy down. Like, oh, Roy's such an idiot getting catfished, he'll say to his catfish. The only reason Lorne hasn't had his license suspended is because he hasn't been caught as many times as Roy. Because Lorne drives drunk all the time. So to sit here and, like, hear him talking about Roy as though he's, like, so much worse than him is kind of nauseating. Just like the ego on this fucking idiot.
Tony Wendy showed me his fucking mugshot. And it's not too hard to tell from his fucking mugshot.
Oh, so Lorne was claiming that he wasn't drinking, but here he is with brand new information about Roy that was shown to him by Tony and Wendy, his drinking buddies. So, like, clearly that's what he was doing. Ugh.
He looks
like fucking shit. Yeah. He royally like shit.
Yeah, he's not the Adonis of a man that Lorne is. He's bleary-eyed, like...
Good, so maybe now you won't walk around with your fucking chest puffed out. Like some hero.
Well, my chest was not popped out before anyway, honey.
It was because you have
I hope
fat
your
tits,
chest
you
wasn't.
bitch.
Honey.
I hope.
He's literally like contrasting himself to Roy right now to like make himself look better, and then being like, oh, my chest isn't puffed out.
Stop it.
Fucking shithead.
Well, he's in there. I don't know if he's gonna be in there for 7 days or for 30 days though.
He should try 6 months.
Fucking turn off that fucking little house in the prairie, you goddamn bitch.
Why? Why the fuck does that bother you? That fucking music alone should relax you.
There's something wrong with a grown man watching little girls run around in dresses, screaming
fucking bullshit.
in crisis
I ain't fucking watching little girls.
all the time.
Not watching little girls. That's not the reason I fucking watch it. And that's funny how fucking everybody else's fucking head goes to that.
Everybody's
Fucking
head.
whooped ass fucking
Yeah, everybody's
assholes.
head. Who else? Who else has brought up the truth to you, asshole? Bitch.
You and just you.
I'm everybody. Okay, thank you.
Ain't nobody fucking brought it up to me. You're the only one.
Shut up.
The fucking show was staying right on there. I like Michael Landon. Nobody fucking likes it. You're fucking bad.
I like Michael Landon. He clarifies. I watch it for the grown man, he says. I don't know. I would have thought that was like a reach before. But now, like, knowing what we know about Lorne, we now know he's, you know, a serial predator and not just a predator of opportunity. So yeah, I do think it's weird now, but I think if I had heard this before I knew that, I would have just assumed Winnie was giving him a hard time.
Gare. thought that it would bother somebody else that I watch a show that I fucking like.
You know it's gonna happen. You know everything, the plot and everything. But you rewatch and rewatch. You know what else? Men have their
Yeah, you know why? Because I don't have to get up and change the goddamn thing. I can let it fucking run for 5 hours and not have to change it.
Get turned on because they know what they like. You found what you like.
I don't have to get up and change the fucking thing. It plays for 5 hours straight and it's background noise. You know why? Because I'm a single fucking guy and it makes me know that I'm not alone.
Oh, fuck, that's pathetic. God damn. I'm a single guy and I listen to Little House on the Prairie so I won't feel alone. That's when you really need to take stock of your life and figure out what you're doing wrong. Because when Little House on the Prairie is what's keeping you company, and what is he, in his late 40s? That's rough. That almost makes me want to like feel pity for him, except I know he brought this all on himself. And again, there's like undertones of pedophilia with him watching it. So, but man, that's rough. Also, how is he single? Is he dating Winnie or is he not? Because, I don't know. Man, that's rough. That's brutal. Winnie's gonna laugh her ass off now.
Oh, God, that felt good. It's like it just made me come.
Amazing how good words fucking look at it.
Sorry, please.
Whatever.
Winnie's like frothy.
Yeah, I'm dying, but I'm still in a better place than you.
Oh.
Yeah. Fucked up are you thinking like fucking Xavier Von Erck and Chris Hansen?
Oh, here we go. Thank you.
I love how those are like his worst insults. Like you're... Like I know we don't love Chris Hansen anymore, but like Lorne isn't even aware of the recent hijinks that he's been up to. As far as Lorne knows, Chris Hansen is still like a respected journalist, and Xavier Von Erck was, I don't know what, a producer of a television show. And, you know, I don't know. Those are both perfectly fine things to be, so I think getting called those is not really that much of an insult, as Lorne thinks it is. You know what it is an insult, though? Is, like, TCAP alumni and, you know, pedophile. But Lorne doesn't seem to associate as much shame with those as with being Chris Hansen somehow.
Lorne, that's what I need.
You wanted to hear it, so.
Oh, thank you, yeah.
I tell you, the way you're acting.
Okay.
And I can't watch a fucking TV show without you judging it. Without you judging me.
Sucio. Expect me to do but sit here and think when my boyfriend knows that I am struggling with something serious and just decides to fuck it. I know other people who I can get something else from right now. She can wait.
I can't do anything.
You can't?
I was trying to be respectful.
Okay, we're back to that again. Okay.
If I would have kept calling, you would have bitched me off flat.
You didn't even try.
So stop.
You didn't even text.
No.
Stop.
You know why? Because you told me Dan was going to be out there. But
so Lorne acts like there's no happy medium between 0 calls and calling on repeat. Like just barraging somebody with calls and angry voice messages until they pick up. Like you can't find maybe the happy medium of calling once, leaving a polite message, and then being done with it. That doesn't even cross his mind. That's not even like a possibility in Lorne's world. You're either not calling somebody or you're stalking and harassing them. Those are Lorne's only 2 modes.
Trying to be respectful.
So stop.
Call Dan right now. Let's ask him.
No. Why? I'm gonna
Why?
call Susan.
good. We'll call Susan. You know my number, and you never called me.
She did. That was like a whole thing. She called you. Ugh. Lorne, you have no excuse. As with all of your wrongdoings, you have no excuse. And the way you try to manufacture them is so incredibly idiotic that it just makes whoever you've pissed off even madder at you.
There's no fucking excuse.
Hello? Anyway, I just proves how fucking smart you are.
I'm here.
I'm not even, I don't give a fuck. I fucking told you. I tried to call you all fucking day. You had your fucking phone off.
Why do you not want to call Dan?
Bitch, don't you fucking hear me? I'm not deflecting. I am not gonna let you get away with this. You hurt my feelings.
Why do you not want to call Dan?
Didn't even fucking ask me how I'm doing. You know what I'm going through. You couldn't.
You haven't given me a chance. All you've been doing is bitching at me.
No, Lorne. It's not gonna work. You were so discourteous and cruel to somebody today. And your plan of how you were gonna try to let it blow over didn't work. Don't be fucking
I
mad.
was cruel and discourteous when I was trying to be fucking
trying to distract me
respectful.
with some bullshit. If you fucking tell me you're gonna try to be respectful with me one more time, this is the last time we're gonna talk. Ever. Do you fucking hear me? I'm not gonna make you admit that that's a bullshit fucking lie you rehearsed. But don't feed it to me again. Stop.
Shut up and don't fucking say that shit to me again.
Fuck you.
You're the one that told me that Dan was supposed to be out there today.
Who fucking cares?
You are the one that told me that Dan was supposed to be out there
You
today.
think I did not want to hear from my boyfriend or the person who says he loved me? You thought I didn't want to hear from you all day, Lauren?
Well,
Is that what you thought?
you know my goddamn number. Why didn't you call me?
She
You
did.
Ugly bitch.
She did.
I called you. 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 I called you.
Because I wasn't in my phone, you fucking throwing the fit to me.
I called you, bitch. Over it.
I didn't have my phone on me because I thought you were busy with Dan.
Of course. You knew your girlfriend was in the hospital, and you chose to keep your phone in your bag, so you didn't piss off your drinking buddies who don't even let you fucking piss in their restroom because you're a fucking pedophile. You selfish, ugly bitch.
I can't fucking believe you're even fucking saying half the shit.
All of it's true. You didn't give a fuck about me when you left your phone and decided that you would just go ahead and go with what your friends wanted. You couldn't tell them my girlfriend's in the hospital. I need my phone. Why couldn't you fucking call me on the way over when you were still sober? Why couldn't you send me one single text? Who gives a fuck?
Okay, so Lauren's phone does have the capability of text. I didn't understand, like, why couldn't you even send, like, a single text? That's absurd.
Dan was here or not? Do you think that Dan's gonna get mad because you call or text me?
I bet he avoided texting, too, because he was worried about, like, misspelling and giving away that he was drunk through that.
Did you not think that we wouldn't have a good conversation with the three of us on the phone? Something that would be enjoyable to me? As close as a fucking visit as you could get? Because you fucking tried to fuck a little girl, now you can't leave the state? You didn't even do the least you could do, Lorne. You're a fucking disappointment. Nothing to say. Seriously?
Why would I want to?
What were you
Let
thinking?
you fucking vent.
Why can't you apologize?
Let you vent.
Why can't you fix it? Why can't you fucking say what an asshole you are?
Because no matter what I say, you're gonna reject it.
See, there's like a certain validity to you know, being found guilty before a trial. Like there's times where you'll get accused and like you know that like no matter what you say, you're not going to change somebody's mind, and they're being unfair in that situation. But when you're caught dead to rights, that is not that situation. And Lorne's approach to this situation, where he's just trying to like let Winnie run out of steam to avoid apologizing, is so childish. Like, he can't apologize. He can't admit he did something wrong. He's just hoping that Winnie lets her anger blow over and like vents it all out to him, and then she can move on.
Right. Because you refuse to tell the truth. Why don't you just admit it so we can get over it? You wanted to go get drunk. You didn't want to hear shit, so you decided to leave your phone in the car and make up some shit that you wanted to respect this and that, and I'd have a friend over. Just admit it so we can move on.
Right, this conversation could have been over, 15 minutes ago, if he had just apologized and owned up to what he did.
It's the same thing, Winnie.
No, admit it.
It's the same thing.
Admit it.
It is the same thing.
Admit it now.
It's the same exact thing as me telling you what happened in my past, in my life. You reject it and tell me, no, that didn't happen to you in your life. This is what happened to you in your life.
This part is such like a wild tangent. Wait for this.
When you wasn't even there to know what happened to me in my life.
Admit it, Lorne. You got up to go get drunk with your friends and thought that you would spin some fucking bullshit story that I would buy. Why don't you just admit it? Please. So we can move on.
Hey, Winnie, do you know that when I was 10 years old, I got a BB gun for my birthday?
Admit that you did what you did today, Lorne.
Me and my brother were outside playing.
Admit it, Lorne.
And I propped up a piece of plywood up against a piece of wood. And I shot my BB gun at that piece of plywood, and ricocheted off and hit my brother in the ass.
Good story, Lorne.
Now you can tell me I'm wrong.
This is such a fucking non sequitur. And in his mind, he just did some like Bobby Fischer grand chess move, like checkmate. Ooh, checkmate. Like, oh my god, this is what's so frustrating about like people like Lorne, is like they think they're making fucking points, and they think they're like dominating in a conversation, and they're just saying the most stupid shit. But you can't point that out to them because they're not able to tell what's stupid shit and what isn't. Oh man, Lorne, I can't imagine like being in a family with like Lorne, or in a relationship, and just having to deal with this circular logic and this like non sequiturs and just all the like shit he puts you through. I can't imagine he's like pleasant to be around at all. I bet this guy's a fucking nightmare.
Also when I was like 5 or 6 years old.
Oh, he's got another great story.
Me and my brother got a bow and arrow for his birthday.
Damn, did he shoot you in the ass then?
Yeah.
Well, that's the end of the call, I guess. I think there might be another part to this one, so maybe I'll do that tomorrow or something. But, well, I generally don't love Winnie content. I think it always tends to go for, like, gross out and sex humor. And just, like, seeing what Lorne will... Like, the whole joke of Winnie, right, is that she's like a really disgusting character with like a disgusting voice who's constantly saying gross things about, sex. And I think it's meant to show that like Lorne will fall for anyone, because no matter how like much Winnie berates him and is just absolutely disgusting, he'll still like say, oh, we're in love and we're getting married. And I think that's like the joke of the Winnie character. But I don't find it as entertaining as like Ramona or Tiffany calling Lorne out for like the shit that he does wrong. I think that's way more interesting to watch Lorne try to like backpedal and defend his indefensible actions. But this was a really good Winnie call. I really enjoyed hearing it. Not that like I don't think that the work Emma does as Winnie isn't good. It's just not my cup of tea usually so much as some of the other decoys. But yeah, this one was really enjoyable, and it stuck out to me as being kind of unique among the Winnie calls. So I just wanted to like give it a playthrough and listen to it with you guys. Thanks for stopping by. I hope you have a good one.